Okay, welcome back guys. Now we're ready to apply the polyurethane mix that we made yesterday. And the wood looks pretty good. It's all dry, and I'm just gonna do some quick, this is the 4/0 steel wool. Just go over this lightly on all the pieces. And this will help smooth it out again and take off any of the possible burrs or nicks from the staining process. And you don't have to use a ton of pressure when you do this, just a little bit of pressure. But it'll help in the end. It'll make it look a lot nicer. Okay, so when we're done doing these, you're going to want to use the tack cloth that I mentioned in my other video. And the tack cloth is going to remove any of the leftover steel wool remnants that's on there. And if it picked up any dust from drying overnight, it'll pick that up too. So we'll go ahead and wipe all these down, and then we'll go to applying the polyurethane. Okay, so those are all wiped off. And I'm going to go ahead and change my gloves, so I'll be right back. Okay, so we got them all wiped off with the cheesecloth, the tack cloth after using the steel wool. And here's our mixture here of the finish, and I'm just going to use the foam brushes. Foam brushes I found work the nicest. Some people say that they cause bubbles, but they only cause bubbles if you go back. You go like this and you make like almost like a suction. It's the only way you're going to get bubbles, but otherwise it goes on pretty smooth. So let's open this up. And I'm just using the screwdriver again. Stir this. That's definitely a very nice red color. Okay, so we got that all stirred up. Let's pick the first piece. I'm just going to go with the biggest and best looking piece right now. And you're going to go on and do even coats. You want to make it as even as possible. You don't have to be too worried about runs at this point or any imperfections, mainly for the reason that we're going to be doing 4 coats of this red finish, and then we're going to be sanding it back down, and what that's going to do is it's going to give us a nice thick base to really, it's going to smooth out any imperfections, to be honest. And after that we'll be able to do 4 more layers with buffing in between with the steel wool. It's looking pretty good so far. Alright, so it's looking pretty good. Put that back on there to dry. Don't forget this spot on the back, because that does get exposed. And of course the top, because that's also exposed and viewable on the rifle. Okay, so we got our first coat on all the pieces, and like I said, don't be too worried about any runs or imperfections in how you put the finish on. I have about 3 coats on each piece, and as you can tell, it's looking pretty awesome. It's turned out way better than I could have ever imagined so far. So I'm just going to apply a 4th coat here. If you like the look of like a military finish, you can leave the brush strokes in there. You don't have to sand it down, because a lot of the military finishes have, you know, the brush strokes in the finish because they rush to get the guns ready to go so fast. It's kind of a neat look. It's not the look I'm going for, but you can do that. And all I'm doing here is I keep going back and forth to make sure that it's on pretty even. And very lightly. I'm not even using any pressure with the brush. Okay, so like I said, we'll let this dry overnight. And once it's all dry, and I'm talking like totally dry, 100% dry, like rock hard, then we will use the steel wool and buff it down and get our nice base, and then we'll go from there. So that'll be the next video, is using the steel wool and things of that nature. See you later.